Yay.
The ever vigilant.
One of those kind of days today. We're tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I can look at your face and I can see that you're tired.
Yeah, but I got a long ways to go. There's no rest.
Long ways to go.
For the weary.
For the weary?
Weary.
You got homework and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, good. No rest for you. That's how you like it.
Apparently, because I torture myself in these ways.
You torture yourself all the time. All the time. And I'm the opposite. I don't.
No.
I have to schedule my days, everything around. I got to make sure I get some rest because you know how I am when I don't get rest. So that's just something that I can't do. I don't understand people like you, but whatever. You want your 3 minutes of sleep? Fine. You can have it. Give me my 8 hours or 7 hours or 6.5. I'll be all right. But we thought about we agreed that we was going to talk about electric vehicles.
Did we?
Fossil fuels.
Oh, yes.
Stuff like that. What is your take on electric vehicles?
No. In a word, no.
No.
They're awful. I mean, it'd be different if they designed an electric vehicle that was similar to a gas-fueled vehicle in sound and speed and capability. Because I mean, you pulling over, I see these stations cropping up all over the town where they have these electric vehicle recharging stations in parking lots, and it's like you have to pull over and wait. I can pull up to a gas station and in 5 minutes fill up my gas tank and I'm gone.
Less than that sometimes.
Yeah. Depends on how much gas is in there in the first place. But I mean, like, if it was completely empty, 5 minutes, I'm gone. Right?
Yep. I've seen people record themselves and talking about how they stayed at a station for 2, 3, 4 hours.
Crazy.
I think it was one guy, he was there for a whopping amount, probably more than like 4 hours, and his car wasn't even fully charged. I think it was over half, but still wasn't fully charged.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. And I think the people that have EV vehicles or electric vehicles, I think that they are recognizing the faults that it has.
Some of them.
When it comes to that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Some of them just brainwashed. They're
and they're going to do it no matter what.
Yeah, they're going to sit there for 10 hours to charge their car up and think that they're doing the best thing for the environment.
Yeah.
They're doing God's will.
Yeah.
Or their God's will. But we all know that it's not saving the environment. It's still using coal, oil, whatever fuel that they are telling you that you will not be using. You're using it, it's just in a different way.
In a different way. Whatever the electric grid that you're using to charge your vehicle is using. Yeah.
Yeah. And, there's reports that you're actually using more of that resource just to charge your car. And especially how they make those batteries. I think it's the lithium. And you have children slaving in Africa. And
for the cobalt, you mean?
I don't know, or whatever the key thing that they have to mine for to make those batteries for the EVs.
Yeah.
Children in Africa, you can pull up, web, or you can go online and you can see videos of that, which looks horrific. But the administration and the world it's not just going to show you that. They're not going to talk about that because then people would know what's really going on about their EVs, and then they would probably not choose to get their EVs. But what the world is going to say, you get this car, you're doing your job to save the planet, you're a good person, everybody should kiss your behind, only smart people do that, you're smart, you're great, you're awesome, everyone else is wrong and evil. And if you ask me, I think weak-minded people just go along with stuff like that. But yeah, it's a no for me too. No to EVs. They sound terrible. I remember having a car, a race car, or something like that when I was a kid, and it was
That's exactly what it sounds like.
yeah, an electric
My-
thing. That
My Barbie convertible.
Yep. I laugh. We know of someone that has an EV that we may see and hear on a daily basis, and it cracks me up every time. Like if I'm at home and I hear that thing leaving or pulling up, it's like, you got a giant toy.
Yes.
I mean, it's like a giant, what was those type of, I can't remember the name of the type of toys, but like the electric little cars that you buy kids and stuff like that. That's all it is. It's just a big version of that. I'm all about gas and fuel. Like you say, excuse me, there's only, I gotta take a break. Maybe you should talk.
I mean, as far as vehicles go, and if the objective were to save the environment, we know full well that engines can be created to run off of water. Natural resource, renewable resource, because it falls from the sky.
This is going online.
And
they're gonna put a hit on our backs.
No, don't do that.
It's going online.
The emissions from a vehicle that is propelled by water would just be water. The output would be the same as the input, right?
Yep.
So that would truly be saving the environment.
Yep. They have so many things that they can fuel a vehicle off of, or to get that combustion, whatever they need.
Yeah.
So many things that wouldn't be harmful to the environment. And I'm at this point in my life where everything that has been presented to me, history, even things that I've seen, I'm at this point in my life where how do I really know that that's really the truth now?
I question everything.
Yeah, I question everything. So how do I know that gasoline is bad for the environment? How do I know that? They've been saying it for so many years. I've been living 42 of them. The environment has been the same as it has been. All the world damaging and earth shattering events that they claim was going to happen has not happened. There were so many things in the 80s that they said was going to happen. Didn't happen. 90s didn't happen. 2000s didn't happen. And so I think it's just a big money cash. I will stick with my fuel vehicles, my gasoline vehicles, like Devastator. Even if they had an electric vehicle like Devastator and it sounded like Devastator, gave me that feel, I still would not feel comfortable in driving one and purchasing one. I just think it's designed to demasculate our society.
I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of things that are, so maybe, I don't know. But I think for me, just the fact that there are so many things out there, like what you described with them saying, oh, this is to improve the environment. This would have happened. They can always go back and say, well, these things that we predicted would have occurred if we didn't do this. And this is why we're suggesting making this shift, because now we can keep this from happening and that from happening.
Yeah.
And we know
Yeah.
that science has evolved to the point where weather can be controlled.
Yep.
One can manipulate in the desert.
Yep.
Can manipulate the weather to make it rain.
You could make a lush jungle now where there was barren desert, and then vice versa.
If desired. So the things like global warming, or talking about reduction of methane gas from cows, use of cows, yet and still you're drilling for what is methane gas, natural gas in rock. I mean, I think it's just kind of, it doesn't make any sense, right?
Well, none of it makes sense.
So there are a lot of things that do make you question, well, why are we really doing this? And what is the purpose? Is it just to make someone money? Is it just so you can control people's behaviors? What is the reality of it? And I think offering someone something that is actually a good product is what's more important to me. I'm tired of seeing all of these vehicles, even the gas ones, that they change the design of, and they're like, oh, look here, look what I made, buy it. I don't like it. So they've obviously collected some group of people to look at some car and when they're designing these things and say, oh yeah, this is great.
See,
and they're the weaklings of society, probably, because I would have stood there and said, no, this is hideous.
So
I would never drive this.
I think that they did that.
Yeah.
I don't think a majority of people will look at those vehicles and say, oh man, yeah, that looks good. Now, yes, that's going to be a small group. You know, if I had to guess, I would say more of like a hippie group, soccer mom type group.
Yes.
Look at those kind of vehicles and would check off those vehicles. But I think overall, it's just a design to demasculate our society. Because when you look at when our society was more masculine, let's go back to the 70s. You know, let's go back to the 80s, 70s, 60s and stuff like that, the way the cars looked back then. And muscle cars felt and drove back then. You had masculinity. It was proud. Man vehicle. That's why I got Devastator. Man vehicle. Okay? But now a lot of vehicles don't represent that. And some of the vehicles that were traditionally strong muscle vehicles, they trying to tweak here and there, and it's looking more weak, it's acting weaker, sounding weaker. So I think it's just overall, they understand that to weaken our society, you can't just weaken the woman, you can't just weaken the man just by talking. You got to hit them at all points. Entertainment, education, vehicles, the clothes the cars you drive, the clothes that you wear, the foods that you eat. Well, everything is just getting softer and more demasculating or whatever. I'll make up a word. I love making up words. And so I see that. That's how I see it, and I refuse to go that route.
It could be. I don't know for sure. None of us would ever really know unless we are the ones behind those types of decisions.
Yeah, I doubt it. Everything that's done in the dark comes out the light. Like, we'll know. They will tell us. It'll probably come out, but just like with everything that's coming out the light, most people are just going to not think about it. They're not going to bring it up as a table talking point because they don't want to be the oddball. They don't want to be that person. But, like I say, back to fossil fuels, EV cars. I'm going to choose the gasoline or diesel fuels all the time. And that swings back to that video I shared you that we saw or regarding that man saying that a fossil fuel was not even a fossil fuel. That dinosaurs, living creatures, they are not producing this, what do you call it, a mineral. It's actually a mineral that he was saying, some type of oil that is produced by Earth and is constantly being produced by Earth that they're changing into gasoline. And that, what was it, in the late 1800s or no, it had to be 1900s. At some point, when gasoline was being used for cars, scientists got together, and I guess one of the car manufacturers or someone, or somebody that was helping making cars, some company had scientists to go to this event and say, oh, it's fossil fuel, so we could say, provide some scarcity about it, so they could jack up the price of the gasoline that's being produced. Which, was I there? No. Do I know for a fact? No, he could just be blowing something out of his mouth. However, with the way the world is, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Because everywhere there's oil.
There's oil everywhere.
All over the world, people are drilling, countries are drilling. And you would think with as much gas that people use, all the power and stuff that we've been using for all of these years, that it would be a sure scarcity of it. It wouldn't be no more.
Not to mention, it's referred to as fossil fuels. And I often wondered, at what point does animal material. Like,
Yep.
how do you know without a doubt that this was a dinosaur or these
Yep.
were dinosaurs or any other creatures at some point? Where's the proof?
So
Because we find animal remains. You found dinosaur bones, all these things. Where is the proof that this fossil fuel that you're describing was at one point actually an animal?
yes, actually a living thing, a carbon-based object or entity out there. And that's another good question, because as long as human beings have been around, mass graves,
Yeah.
wouldn't there be oil?
Wouldn't they have turned into
beings? Yeah,
wouldn't they have turned into
some
fossil
point,
fuels?
yeah. Like we are we burning?
Yeah. Do we need to just
dead
look in the
ancestors
graveyards
every
for
time we pump gas?
oil?
It's our ancestors giving our cars power
Right.
to move forward. So yeah, that's a great question. And see, that makes you think like, yeah, that makes sense, because you don't hear about that with any other thing. All over the world, whether it's an animal, a plant, whatever that's a carbon-based thing that has died, withered, the weather has come, earthquakes has come, and now there's layers of earth on top of that thing. You don't see drilling and those things producing oil.
It just turns to
You
dust.
see none of that. You hear about ancient cities that's been buried for thousands and thousands of years, and they find pottery, bones, and stuff like that. They don't find oil,
No.
but it's been crushed by the earth. Because I've heard people say, scientists, oh, well, it got to be by the weight of the earth and stuff, and they press it down and they compress it. Well, there's other things like that.
Yeah.
Everything in the earth has been like that, been compressed by the earth, and we don't drill for oil anywhere else. So I do believe, it makes me do believe more that it's probably a mineral or something like that. It's not as scarce. Can I say for a fact how it's created? No. But I don't think it's as scarce as they try to make it seem. They just try to control you.
I would have to lean more towards agreeing as well. I mean, I'm not an earth scientist, so I don't really know for sure what even makes up all of the various types of fossil fuels or crude oil or whatever it is that they're extracting. However, I just remember it always being in my mind.
Squirrel moment.
Squirrel moment?
Yeah, I gotta say something quick that has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Okay.
I meant for the next time we record it to shut this, because all other videos that I've looked at and I'm seeing you do it now, you home in on the screen of the computer and you constantly look at the computer.
Yeah, but that's because it would be weird for me to keep looking that way.
We should be looking at them.
I've said this with the positioning of the camera.
I don't like the way y'all look today.
Okay. And if I'm looking at you, then I look like I'm giving you the side eye. I literally, because I'm not facing you like this.
Oh, whatever you
I broke stuff.
You broke stuff. Just to try to prove a point.
This should be taped. I don't know why that's not taped. But
We'll figure out. I better get up at some point, because technically this is backwards. Yeah, you did hit something. It sounds
weird. I think we're synthesized now.
Oh boy. Okay. We'll rock with it.
But yeah, that's just that was always my question.
Mm-hmm.
People would try and convince me that this oil was fossils, and I would say, why? How? Why? If these were fossils, then why do you still find fossils?
Exactly.
All of the fossils would just be oil.
Yes.
And there would be no proof of the existence of prehistoric creatures.
And then if it's just fossils, why, and it's scarce, why wouldn't we be putting dead animals and stuff like that into the
it.
ground?
So we can make more.
we want to look out for the generations to come, right? We should be putting that stuff back in so another 100,000 years from now, whatever, the generation can have their fossil fuel.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Bojangles. We took a 35
Lots of chickens and
product,
turkeys.
just buried it for the future generations because we care. Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense.
So I never believed it. It was one of those things where, oh, if you say so, okay. Like we were talking about outer space, with various things that scientists say, well, we know invariably there's proof that this happens. And unless you've been there to some distant star that you said you discovered millions of miles away that you can never get to in your human body, by the way. But you're trying to convince me that you know what the atmosphere is on that
that's where we differ.
Planet.
That's where we differ. Now, if it's a planet in our solar system, I can give them the fact that they send satellites and stuff like that and probes and stuff. I can give them that.
True.
When they talk about other solar systems, they know exactly what this planet is and how this planet works and the atmosphere, the oxygen levels, and this galaxy far away, or not in a galaxy far away, but in our own Milky Way. My conspiracy theory is they have been there.
But that's my point.
Mm-hmm.
How can you know unless you've been there? And you cannot talk about it.
That's it. You tell us.
If it is a theory, we think that. But then in the very next sentence say, well, this is what happens there.
Yeah. Your question tells us that. It is. They've been there. And I've always thought that. I've always thought that.
It is. Oh, I mean, what was that thing that came up a few weeks ago? Las Vegas, the 9-foot people landing in the backyard or entities, whatever, right? Where they said they blacked out
aliens or demons.
What they found in the backyard when on the police body cam. When they walked into the backyard, they blacked it out, talking about it was private property. When have you ever?
What do you mean blacked out? Because I don't.
They did not show when the
They didn't show the whole police cam.
Approached.
Okay, that's
entered
what
the
you're
backyard.
You're not talking about pass out, blackout. Okay. Oh yeah, of course they're not going to show
saying
anything
that
like
it's
that.
private property.
Of course they're not going to show anything about that.
When have you ever seen
That's
body cam footage?
Property.
Yes, where they have blacked out where an officer walked into somebody's yard. They have never.
Yeah. They don't do that.
They don't do that.
I mean, they had a whole TV show.
Exactly.
Filming officers walking into people's yards. So yeah, it's not. It has nothing to do with private property.
Right.
See, that's another thing that I don't like with the world nowadays. Like, if you're gonna lie to me, give me a good lie.
Yeah.
Give me a good lie that I can say, all right, I know you're lying, but good, cool.
Yeah, they could have just summed it up and said it's still under investigation. They don't want to release the footage.
Give me a good lie. Don't tell me something stupid, because now you insult my intelligence. Now I'm at the point where I want to bring that topic up, where if you'd have gave me a good lie, I know you're lying, I'll just be like, all right, carry on, whatever. Yeah. No, now you're telling me something. That's like when I'm out there doing my thing and I come across somebody and they tell me the most bogus story lie. And I'm thinking to myself, yep, now we getting ready to talk. If you just would have said, hey, I was just trying to run in this store and run out right quick. I don't know, trying to get home before my show comes on. Okay, I get it. I've done that before. You probably lying to me, but don't do it again. But you start saying some crazy crap and it's like, yeah, never mind. You're probably going to eat that. Yeah, we get ready to investigate the matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're right. It's things that we'll know once we go.
Might not be privy to certain information here, but what made me talk about that whole alien thing is when we were talking about space. Perhaps they have communicated with aliens or creatures from other planets. How do we suddenly go from a lot of things that we talked about in different points in the timeline of human beings and creating technology? The 1900s was booming.
So full jump.
Yes.
Mhm.
So you went from having almost no technology and like an incandescent bulb to suddenly having microwaves and computers and flying machines.
That's a good topic, but I'm gonna have to stop you right there. Time is running out.
Okay.
And that's a good topic, a segment of its own
Yes.
that we drove from or we derive from
Right.
EVs and fossil fuels.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your darn fossil fuel vehicles. Get manly vehicles, strong vehicles. Don't get these little weak, crappy, crusty crabs that's out there.
To the men.
Uh-oh. Time up. To the men and women. I mean, you can get a woman vehicle that's strong. I mean, a woman can drive a strong vehicle. I don't mind a woman driving a thing like Devastator. I think that's cool. I don't mind a woman driving a muscle truck, a muscle car. I'm not saying that that's got to be your role, but just be more masculine about your selection. Stop just going along. Stop buying these cars that cut off and cut back on when
Oh
you
my
stop.
gosh, those are the worst.
Stop doing that. Good gracious, man. They're just trying to just chip it away. Just tap, 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 till there's nothing left. It's crazy.
But I don't think
Catch
there's
some
anything
pride.
wrong with a woman driving a feminine car, right? A mom car,
I don't think
the one
anything's
that-
wrong with it either.
a van.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman driving a masculine car either.
It's not.
Oh, vans? No, don't buy vans. That's weak. I laugh at you.
If you have 8 kids, get a
Laugh
van.
at you.
Don't worry about.
I don't care, woman or man, I laugh at you. I see you in the van. Shake my head. Pathetic. I don't even know why vans exist.
Sometimes they're necessary.
Yeah.
They need to go back to making those full-size vans, though. I will say that because those these weak little minivans are awful. But if you go back to that full-size gas
gonna do it.
guzzling 1980, it has a bed in the back kind of van.
Yeah, they're not going to
It
do
would be
it.
amazing.
They're not going to do it. Because they'll start thinking this, oh, maybe we add more masculinity to it. That's why they went to the minivans. Everything is minivans. Even the SUVs out there look like minivans.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of stuff that I would like to say, but it's not PG about all of that
gosh.
stuff. And I will not say that stuff. But just make better decisions.
Okay.
Yep. Everyone out there, I think we had a pretty good topic.
Yeah, it was good. That's fine.
Yeah. Waiting on our audience to let us
Oh.
know it's time to go. Darn shoes.
The happy shoe audience.
Yeah. They need to tie themselves up. They're too loose. All right.